Hey, this is Meridith Elliott Powell, and you know what time it is. It is 9 a.m. Eastern, Saturday morning, and time for a Sales Logic. We are live here in Dallas, Texas. It's that rare occasion Mark and I are actually together at an event coming to you live on Saturday morning.
And at our normal time, which is absolutely a fluke, right? Anyway, so hey, let me tell the audience what we got on tap for there. We're going to talk about sales trends and technology for 2023, which is really cool. Kind of what's coming on the scene that's going to change sales. We got a great question from Allison in Wisconsin. Got a great book. And hey, the lightning round. Top 10 changes you need to be ready for 23. Now, we've kind of talked about this before, but we keep finding out new stuff.
Yeah.
I found out, at this event we're at, I found out new stuff. I think you found out. So, hey, let's have fun.
Things we need to pay attention to. All right, let's rock and roll in the video, and let's dive in for today's show.
Prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. Integrity is the foundation from which everything is built on.
You better understand value. But at the end of the day, sales is a relationship business. It is a people business. It is an emotional business.
This is Sales Logic.
The power of scheduling automation has never been more important than it is today. Your sales team needs a solution to easily meet with prospects at the right time, every time. With Calendly, you can turn more meetings into revenue, accelerate your sales cycle, and increase your win rate when you use Calendly to automate your scheduling. Finish the year strong and request a demo of Calendly today.
Yeah, Calendly's not only an amazing sponsor, but they really fit well with today's theme about technology trends and things that you need to be paying attention to. Okay, before Mark tells you what is on tap for this morning, let me tell you how the show works. Every week, we invite you, the audience, to be a part of Sales Logic. That's right. If you've got a question, anything you want us to cover, send it here to saleslogicpodcast.com, or just send Mark and I your question. We'll feature you right here on the show. We cover a topic, we have a lightning round, and a book that you ought to be reading. So Mark, take it away.
Take it away. Hey, it's sales trends and technology. We're really going to do a deep dive into technology for 2023. And the question comes from Allison in Wisconsin. I love this show. I listen to it every week, either live or download later. Just curious, what do you see for 2023? What technology is hot? What do we need to invest in? Stay away from now, and how do we get our team prepared for 2023? Hey, Allison, get it on the podcast, would you? And leave us a review. Okay.
Yeah. Just because you watch it every week. You know, there's a lot of things. I mean, I think number one, what we see for 2023 is definitely a more challenging year. You know, there's I was just in my room listening to the World Economic Forum happening in Singapore. And really everybody's talking about a challenging year as far as the new CEO of Amazon was talking about continued supply chain issues. We'll definitely be dealing with a recession. So your team's going to need to increase activity, and increased activity is going to mean that if they are not using the basics, you know, we're going to talk about trends, automation, things that you need to be focused on. But I think as a sales leader, you need to spend December making sure that your team has doubled down and is using the basics. Are they fully using the CRM that you've got? Are they shooting videos? Are they using social media? What do their profiles look like? And are they comfortable doing videos? Get the basics down, and then let's build on top of that.
You hit on something so key, because I think people say, oh, let me get this. Let me add this to my sales tech stack, and let's keep adding and adding it. No, use what you got first. Look at your CRM system. I was having a conversation this last week with Tiffany Bova from Salesforce.
Yeah.
And she made the comment, she said, we have gone from about 100 different apps that were available, 5 or 10 years ago, to over 7,000 today. Mm-hmm. And it keeps growing, and people keep thinking they need to add. And it's almost, you may want to add one, but you're going to take two off the plate. I hate to say that, but it comes back to, you're right. Master CRM, master video. But you said something else. You said you were in your room watching Singapore. We have to be more in tuned globally than ever before, because if we're not tuned in globally, we lose.
Yeah. And it is, so I want to back up and reiterate that. I can't tell you how many sales teams I've been working with this year that the sales team is not fully utilizing the CRM. And do not even begin to think about going into 2023 without fully utilizing the CRM. And the only reason your team isn't utilizing the CRM is because you as a sales leader are not insisting they use the CRM. So you really, the data, if we're going to do anything with technology trends, the data needs to be where you can get hold of the data.
It really has to be the rule in place. And I stress this with every manager I work with. If it's not in the CRM system, it did not happen.
Right.
I mean, how many times have you worked with teams and we have this over here in an Excel spreadsheet. We have this over here. We have this over here. Master your CRM. And that means not updating it on Saturday morning while you're watching Sales Logic. It means updating it as you go.
Yeah, absolutely. The other is, I might spend these last couple of weeks of the year really doing some role plays. God forbid I say role plays, but role plays on Zoom and see how proficient and how good your team is at selling, having conversations, and building relationships on video. That's going to be a trend that's going to continue. I don't know what the statistics are, but for most of the sales teams that I work with, they're not going back to that much selling in person. Even if they are doing some in person, they're subsidizing and they're supporting it with selling on video. So you're going to need to continue to get better and better and better and more comfortable with selling on video.
This brings up this whole issue of what does selling look like? What does the sales call look like going forward? And you're right, it is Zoom, it's Teams, it's GoToMeeting, it's whatever platform you want to use. But are you using it to your best capability? And again, I see so many organizations, don't sit there and try to add. Use what you got first. So if you had one sales tool that you say, I can't live without it, what would it be? Now I'm putting Meridith on the spot.
Well, I can't live without my CRM.
CRM? Okay.
I
Right.
can't.
Right.
I can't. But backed up right behind that would be my social media. Those are probably the two the two pieces of technology that I cannot live without.
Now keep in mind what she just said, social media, because she is basically a solopreneur. She's an entrepreneur with her own company. So if you are a part of a salesperson in a larger organization, your role on social media is going to be different than what your role is, my role. You're right. I can't live without the apps that we have for social media. But you know what's funny? You ask me what those apps are. I don't know, because I have a great team. Okay, sorry.
Well, I do. I use Social Bee for that. And here's the thing. I don't care if you work for a corporation or you're a solopreneur. One of the trends that I see happening with marketing and technology is that you need to be a mini marketer. Probably one of the biggest mistakes I see corporate make is that corporate sales professionals leave marketing up to the marketing department. And you have to market yourself. Anything that marketing is doing for you is a layer on. You've got to understand where on social media your target market is, and then you have to be working that area.
And you have to be authentic about it. This is one of the biggest challenges. We see AI. We happen to be at a conference this weekend, and yesterday I was introduced to an AI tool. It's scary. It does me better than me does me.
Mm-hmm.
But what you have to understand is we have to be able to put the genuine, real Meridith into your post. So when people look at what you're saying, they know that's Meridith.
Yeah.
When I post something, they go, that's Mark. And because, again, the era of artificial intelligence is only going to explode, which means people are going to be questioning what's really happening. But I think what that's going to drive is the need back to that total personalization to be able to break through that noise.
Yeah. Jack Hubbard's with us this morning, and he said, The winder of our video discontent, unless we understand that virtual selling is the forever normal. Absolutely. So again, back to this technology piece, how well is your group using Zoom? How well are they using video? And you're gonna need to role play to get it there, and be comfortable. And he goes on to say, if a sales professional doesn't use Sales Navigator, they are missing out. Absolutely. Sales Navigator in that tool to help you mine the data of what is LinkedIn. I would venture to say that for most people that are listening to us on Sales Logic today, that probably most of your clients, your prospects are on LinkedIn. And so, and that is just a tool that gets better and better and better. And you need to dive in, understand how to use it proactively to target and build relationships with the prospects and clients you want to go after.
I just saw a report Thursday. I haven't had a chance to read it, but there have been 50 updates to LinkedIn just in the last quarter.
Yeah.
50 alone. And it's like, man, I am way behind. But you brought up Sales Navigator. There's a critical tool. And you see right there, people say, okay, I'm on LinkedIn, but am I using all the tools that LinkedIn has to offer? No. And that's the thing. Use what you have first before you sit there and say, I want to reinvent the world.
Yeah, what's funny is I'm sitting here listening to this, and Jack Hubbard, I wonder where you would weigh in. If a sales leader would commit next year to get their team fully utilizing the CRM, fully utilizing video and virtual selling, getting good at engaging via video, and fully utilizing their social media channel. Jack Hubbard, question on the table: how much do you think that team would increase sales next year?
I'm going to be fascinated to hear Jack's response, because this is the other piece. I mean, there's a lot of tools out there. There is Sales Loft, there's Outreach, there's all these various tools that can help you automate your cadence. And they're great tools. They're great tools. But again, you cannot become reliant on the tool. What I'm finding is every organization I work with today has some sort of a cadence automation system in place. And it might be Groove, it might be Sales Loft, it might be Outreach, but they've got something. And that's cool. But the challenge is it's taking the personalization out of the sales process,
which will be a tech trend for 2023, is using technology, personalizing and customizing it. How do you put the human into? And we're at a conference where all our friends are, so we're waving as they go by. How do you use technology and then put the human piece into it? Mark, we got some awesome comments.
Well, it is, and this is absolutely outstanding, because here's the other piece that you got to stop and think about. Personalization is not just adding a person's first name to the email, right? I mean, that just doesn't work. Personalization is really getting, and again, if you're using LinkedIn, you truly are able to personalize, because at least you're able to find out a little bit of background on it. I love what Jack is talking about. His favorite tech tool, and keep in mind I'm 72, is Shield. Wow, it's a great strategic tool that helps you understand. Wow, I'd never heard of Shield before. Have you heard of Shield?
Yeah, I have heard of Shield, and it's a great app. And Jack, you may be 72, but they have the innovative mind of a 30-year-old and the energy and passion for this industry. Pat chimes in and says, I think in a recession that sales negotiation skills are going to be an essential, because customers are going to be looking at their bottom line much more closely. So true.
Oh, I'm going to argue on that one.
Okay.
I mean, yes, negotiation is so important, but this is why prospecting, now how you prospect, because if you're prospecting that ideal, and we talk about this a lot, ideal customer profile, and you're doing follow up as you talk about, we can minimize. We're not going to eliminate negotiating, but we're going to be able to minimize negotiating, because we're so locked in on the solution the customer's looking for.
Yeah, I'm gonna come down more on the side of Patrick. I think there is going to be more pushback this year, but I love that Patrick brought this up, because I think from the mindset of a salesperson, we need to expect it and we need to welcome it. I love the fact that when we go into challenging economic times, customers become more selective. They're a little bit more picky, because when I am clear on why my product will deliver, I am clear on the value that I bring to the table, I'm going to put myself in a position of competitive advantage. So welcome the negotiation, because that's the opportunity for you to position yourself and prove not only why your price is important, but why you outpace your competitor.
And see, if you've handled the process right, you've had that personal contact. You haven't just outsourced the whole sales process to apps and hacks and so forth. So now you do know. So you come into negotiation more prepared, because
Absolutely.
you lose if you come into a negotiation not prepared. And that's the fear that I have, that technology is going to remove the sale. No, the salesperson is going to allow technology to remove themselves from the sales process.
Yeah. So Adam, great comment. Each sales rep needs to get back to basic, maximize the tools that they already have, be proficient and effective before adding new tools. I mean, so key. If you don't take anything else from this from this session, go back to those 4 basics that we talked about and double down. Yes, Monica, we'll make sure that Shield is in the show notes, being a great suggestion.
And hey, chime in, put into the notes right now, those of you who are watching live, listening live, what the app is that you like to use, because we'd love to hear from you, because I was not aware of Shield. Here's something, though, that there are some other basics. Calendly, we're very fortunate to have them as a sponsor. And see, that's a fundamental app. But again, you still own your calendar. This is one of the key things. Calendly is a great app. It'll schedule meetings for you. But at the end of the day, you still control it. Never allow the app. The app can help give you discipline and focus, but do not let the app control you.
But you know what I think that Calendly does, and I think that this is a tech trend, is not every technology is for you, and you need to select the ones that work in your sales process. One of your goals in 2023, and I think Calendly does this beautiful, it takes the friction out of the customer experience. One of the most important questions you can ask yourself is, how easy are you to do business with? Not only ask yourself that, but walk through the process. How easy is it to schedule an appointment with you? That's why Calendly is so beautiful, because it takes that back and forth of the email, which is a pain to a customer. If they can just click on your link, if they can just schedule some time with you, it's a frictionless experience for them. And a frictionless experience for them is going to create a better result.
And then you add to that, ask yourself, is the app helping me to accelerate the process? If the app isn't, whatever the tool is, it's all about acceleration, because that's how we create more customer satisfaction.
Right.
If we provide them, because what people said 10 years ago was accepted response time is much different than it is today. HubSpot, that's a great tool, for instance, because HubSpot, I could absolutely see who's on the website right now. And a couple of years ago, it would be creepy if you literally called them 2 minutes later. Today, it's the expectation.
Yeah, today it is. Yeah, today, absolutely.
See? So, I mean, speed has accelerated the use of tools, but tools allows us to speed the process.
Yeah. One of the things that I don't like about the topic of technology trends is that they make us think, we get a little FOMO, right? We think we need to be using the newest technology. And I don't know about you, but I look down at my phone. I have so many apps that I never even utilize, that somebody told me I had to get this app. I get the app, and then I don't ever use it. The goal with technology is to understand what technology, to your point, is going to increase the customer experience, make you more efficient and effective. Because in 2023, you are going to need to be more efficient and effective. The parts of the sales process, look at those parts of the sales process that you can automate, and what technology can help you automate. I just want to say, Scott, thank you so much. I love that you apply so much of what you hear here, and happy holidays to you. Chime in 2023 with a question that you've got. We'll help you sell more in the medical field.
Here's something very interesting. You have to ask yourself, is the app going to help me? Just because it helps somebody else, it doesn't mean it's going to help me. You really have to understand, how does it fit into your process? unless your process is so broken, don't bring the app in unless it's going to help the process.
Yeah.
But I see too many people, what they do is they bring in this app and then they suddenly realize, oh, I got to change our whole sales process. What's going on here, folks? Who's driving who? Doesn't make sense.
I mean, I would say that technology is never going to solve the problem. You know, I was with a client last week and the sales team was saying that their CRM isn't any good. And the CEO was asking me, he said, should I buy a new CRM? And I said, you probably should buy a new CRM. I said, but not until your team is using the one they have. I don't care if it's junk. If they're not entering data into a spreadsheet, they don't have the behavior down to use the tool.
Thank you. The lack of a program is not the reason for your failure.
Yeah.
You have to accept it. Hey, we're moving along here. We got to get to the book here in just a second. But before we tell you about the book, let me tell you about Calendly. Accelerate your sales cycle and increase your win rate when you use Calendly to automate your scheduling. It's the tool we use to manage our work days and our sales goals. Okay, ready for the book?
I am, but let me just chime in with what Mark said here. He said, as our friend Mark, and the other Mark in our lives, as Mark's last podcast guest said, 50% of workers will need to reskill by 2025. Then it's probably best to begin the process now. If you wait, it may be too late. Oh my gosh, Mark! You know, I went out for a run this morning at 6:00, and that was the exact conversation I was having with my running partner. Is the fact that we were talking about some trends and saying we're not really sure where they're going, but we better get on board now or we're going to be too far behind when they stick.
If you went for the run, you could go for the marathon because the marathon starts right outside the door here in about 15 minutes.
I'm not a marathon girl.
Okay. Hey, the book today, and you were the one who recommended the book. Again, you added another book to my list. It is by Susie DeVille, Entrepreneur's Guide to Becoming Wildly Successful. Okay, I haven't bought it. I got to buy it now. Tell us about it.
Well, what I love about the book, if you don't follow Susie DeVille, she's kind of a cutting edge, innovative entrepreneur. She's built several companies, but she really deals with the holistic entrepreneur, getting every aspect of your life healthy, getting every aspect of your life in shape to be as successful. And through the book, she really makes you explore all the areas so you can truly become the entrepreneurial athlete you are meant to be.
So it's a bookend to my favorite book, Atomic Habits,
exactly.
right? Okay,
right.
I'm sorry.
Well, it kind of, you know, Atomic Habits has you exploring what you need to do to be successful. Right. I feel like Susie gets into the blocks as to why you're not taking the steps to do that.
That's excellent. Okay, hey, we got a lot of comments coming on. Too many for us to get on the screen here. We'll try to get more on here. Lightning round, top 10 changes you need to be ready for in 2023. You're on the clock. Go.
I definitely think that supply chain is going to be a continued challenge, going up and down as we move through 2023.
And I'm going to add to that. Then that means you have to be in tune upstream and downstream of your product flow, which means one of the apps and hacks is simply staying abreast of your supply chain. Where does your stuff come from? Where does your stuff go? If you don't understand that flow, you're going to be in trouble with your customers.
Yeah, and I think you're going to need to help your customers manage their supply chain constraints. I think that's where understanding how to do that is going to be your challenge. The value to your customer is going to be that they can lean on you to help know and understand their challenges and navigate them.
Hey, I'm going to add, you got to make sure that your CRM system is never closed on your computer, period. I was with a sales team recently, and we literally put that in place as a policy that the CRM will never be closed, because what we found out was the CRM didn't get turned on many people's computers, but maybe one day a week to update it to make their boss happy.
I think in 2023, I continued challenge is going to be the fact that your current sales process is not going to be enough, and you need to retool, you need to fix, you need to update, and you need to more intimately understand what's working from a sales perspective.
Personalize it using video. Video doesn't come in at the beginning, but it comes in right after the initial stave, after the initial contact. You want to begin putting video into the sales process.
I think your prospects are going to be far more stressed and a little more fearful as you move into 2023. Getting in front of them is going to continue to be more challenging. You're going to have to push more value out on the front end so they recognize you as somebody that they should give their time to.
It is not a game of expanding the number of prospects you have. It is a game of making better prospects of what you have. What does that mean? I want to qualify better so I can spend more time actually with fewer prospects because I'm really taking the time to personalize.
Yeah, I'm going to say that a challenge in 2023 is that your competitors are going to make it a price war. Whenever recession hits, people get fearful, and most salespeople don't know how to sell. What they know how to do is take orders. So when the economy goes a little wonky, they start to drive price down. You're going to need to know how to get yourself out of the price war and how to sell risk and value and not get in the mud with your competitors.
This means being confident as to who you are. This is why we recommend Sales Logic. What do we try to do? We try to give you confidence and competence to be able to stay on top of your game. But this comes down to something else, though. You've got to be prepared to take stuff off of your plate. That there are probably email newsletters and so forth that you're subscribing to that you should not be. Get those off your plate so you can be focused, like pick up on Mayor, so that you're ready to be able to negotiate and you have the right mindset. Once you share one more, I'll share one more. We'll close it down.
Yeah. One of your challenges next year is going to be to play the long game. All of us work in different industries, and some of us are on the front of this recession. Some of us are on the back of this recession. And can you trust the journey, play the long game, and do the right behaviors and not push and sell from a place of desperation, but continue to sell from a place of power and value?
Okay, Mare was talking with a foreign language because she said some word that begins with the letter R, and I don't really understand what that word is. So anyway, but hey, because here's what it comes down to. It comes down to your mindset. Whatever you have in your tech stack, it is still the mindset and how you use it. Your tools help create discipline, but you still control your tools. With that, we want to say a huge thank you to Calendly for helping us manage our scheduling needs through automation and for their sponsorship of the Sales Logic podcast. Be sure to visit the link in our show notes and request a demo of Calendly today. You want to add another comment on there? Because we got some great comments coming in.
Oh yeah. Monica, we'll definitely put the books in the show notes, and you can find a list of all the books that we provide when you look through the show notes and the update of the website. And everybody's saying Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Probably the best gift that Mark and I have had in 2022 has been this show and the fabulous guests. Your participation every week make this show so much better.
And we are committed to doing it next December 24th and the 31st, right?
Because we'll be right here on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve.
Sales, not in this hotel, but we'll be anyway. But anyway, hey, Sales Logic doesn't take a break because sales doesn't take a break. Hey, I want to say thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. If something we've said has earned you a single dollar, consider telling a friend. It's how we grow when you grow. Hey, I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meridith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical.
All right, mark your calendars. Christmas Eve, you're right here with us, right here on Sales Logic. Got a question on how to make sales effective in 2023? Send it to us. We'll have a great show for you. Again, thank you so much. We'll see you here next week. Now go close a deal.